B-Bad and Brandon.
Vaccinations. Well,
Sorry, I thought I better press it now before I forget to press it.
yeah, as long as you've had 2 vaccinations, you can travel to the amber countries with no isolation as well. You just have to do a test. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Like we run a similar system, the red, amber, green over here, like just to travel obviously in the state, and seems to be working, but hopefully
you guys have been pretty cool with it for about a year now, really.
Yeah, man. We've been very lucky. Like we just had a quick mini lockdown last week, and luckily 3 days done, back out, and so we're stoked with that. Like we're stoked. We're very grateful, but you guys have been hit pretty hard.
Yeah, we went through months of it. So what was it? November until March or April this year, we were sort of locked down. Like literally nothing open other than stores. Like for your basic stuff, but no pubs, no bars, no restaurants, no gyms. Nothing.
Fuck. Because you're in England, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you follow soccer at all?
Yeah.
You see, you got the Euro final this weekend, bro. It's been going off over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big weekend for us here.
Fucking oath. Like just quick background. Like my family's Sicilian, obviously Italian. So man, it's gonna be a sick game. I'll be up early Sunday morning watching that.
I bet, man.
That's dope. It's like the first time you guys have made the Euro Cup final in what, nearly 40 years?
First time ever. So we made the World Cup final 55 years ago. We've never made the European final.
Fuck,
we only ever made one major final in history, and that was the World Cup. Now
Jesus.
Yeah.
Bro, and Italy are looking pretty good. Like they haven't lost a match, I think, in 33 games or something.
Nope.
Fuck, it's gonna be intense. Like obviously my family being Italian, they're fucking religiously like I played it as a kid and then never looked back once I gave it up. But watching it at that top level is just artwork, and it's gonna be a good game.
It is. It is
so
indeed.
I'll have to slip in those DMs after and when we win. So
and then we've got State of Origin.
Bro.
Then we've got State of Origin again next Wednesday.
I know. Yeah, you guys get that, eh?
Yeah, this was one of the first things on my calendar.
Fuck yes, it is. And who do you
go for, bro?
Well, I think you're in Queensland, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And I'm New South Wales.
Oh, why?
This podcast just ended.
I lived in Sydney for 12 months when I was 20 and 21. So
you've had to pick it off that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Man, it's I don't blame you. Like we were talking about it just before, like we did another episode, and New South Wales. Have you been following it for a while?
Yeah, since 2004. So yeah.
So you've seen the Queensland dynasty and everything.
I've seen the Queensland domination,
right?
8 years in a row or whatever.
Yeah, it's like New South Wales are in that position where Queensland were in 06, and they have that fucking culture behind them that is just relentless. Did you, just quick topic, I know we haven't really done our intro and shit, but I don't know if you guys saw, I don't know if you saw over in England, so Jai Arrow, the Queensland fucking lock, just got kicked out of Origin for breaching COVID rules, for bringing a chick back to his the Origin camp. Yeah. Dickhead got fined $35,000, suspended for 2 matches. Now, the funny thing is, I don't know if you saw it over there, bro, in England, but one of the St. George Illawarra, they just got fucking done massively. Paul Vaughan lost his contract, got fined $50,000 and suspended for 8 matches. Then Jai Arrow's like, yeah, I'm going to breach COVID rules again. You're a fucking idiot. Like,
they lost 8 players, St. George, didn't they? Or 9 players.
Bro, I think they have to pull their reserve grade team up to fucking, I reckon the whole heap will be making NRL debuts this weekend. Like, you're an idiot. Like, I get it. To play devil's advocate, these guys have been in, their bubble away from their family so we can be entertained for most of the last year and then have to go back in the bubble. But, man, you just can't do that. And then you don't try and run away when cops come up to your house. You fucking idiot.
What?
Did you not? Bro, they had Corey Norman running down the street trying to escape. Jack DeBellin was under the bed. It was insane. It was insane, bro. Like,
They're not the sharpest tools in the shed.
no, that to their credit, and like obviously two strength coaches and a very jacked Englishman. You know, we're not supposed to be that. We're probably on that same level. So well done.
Oh, bro.
We
We should be a little official.
Yeah, yeah.
Mate,
Welcome.
yeah, welcome, sir. Mr. Dan, mate, we kick off with one question, then we see what happens. The question is very simple. It is 21 sounds. Brando, my boy, counts the sounds, so you can use sounds or words, whatever you like. Who you are and what you do.
Okay.
Are you ready? Go.
Yeah. So I am Daniel Ashcroft. Online strength coach, was in person, but transferred everything to online.
4 words left.
Oh.
2 words left.
Fucked it.
That's me.
It's perfect. We're actually getting a really good response lately from these this go at it. No one's had a full meltdown yet, so it's great in a long time.
Yeah, no need to melt down.
But we did have, we always tell this story, and we nearly went on like a 50 episode streak of just dropping this. But we have an elite lifter over here, Luke Poley, who's a $160, and he just crumbled under the pressure. Whether that be because his blood pressure was high or not, but it was too funny. Like you
totals 1,000, can't do 21 words.
Yeah, you total 1,000. But bro, tell us a bit about yourself. Obviously, today is about you. And how did you get into? Because you're a strong man.
Yeah. So I'm a strong man. Have been for 10 years, 11 years. But that came sort of from finishing rugby league. As we spoke about originally before.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I played up until the age of 23.
Yep.
And then suffered a lot of concussions and was told never to play again. So I was playing at quite a high standard over here when that was happening, and then it was sort of cut real short. I was a bit lost for sort of 2 to 3 months, and then met Adam Bishop. I don't know if you know World Strongest Man Adam Bishop. So I met him in the gym he was a 90, I think he was 99 kilos at the time, and now 156 kilos. So I watched him grow as a person, but he was log pressing in the gym that I was training in as well. So I just walked in and asked him, you know, what are you doing? Basically, I'd never really seen anyone doing this in a gym. It was before. So this was 2010. So strongman wasn't popular at this time. So I asked him what he was doing, and he said, just jump in, have a go. And then caught the bug, went to his local yard where he was training, and it snowballed from there. And then I got into coaching. I'd always coached. So I coached. That's why I was in Australia, in New South Wales. I coached rugby over there and played rugby league over there. I'd also coached soccer over there for a little bit as well, in Manly, which was really good.
Fucking yeah.
So I've done a lot of coaching in terms of sports coaching, and then I took that sort of into strength coaching or coaching in the gym. You never sort of start as a certain strength coach unless you're into that strength and conditioning realm. With sports teams, it was sort of in gym coaching, and then snowboard on from there into my interests. I wanted to take everything into my interests and start with the strength stuff. So yeah, that's how it got going. And
now from what I hear and have seen, you're pretty fucking strong
as well.
Yeah. I get by. So in terms of powerlifting numbers, I've squatted 310, I've benched 200, and pulled 300.
At what body weight?
At 84 to a powerlifting standard as well. I've never hit the platform though. I've never hit the platform yet. And I always say,
that's nearly a 10 times body weight.
Over 800 total.
It's something I will do, and I keep meaning to do. It's just finding the time in between strongman competition to actually get. No, it's strongman. It's the competitions that they take a lot of your time if you want to. It's a sort of 12-week build-up minimum if you want to really commit to it, and then slot in, powerlifting show into the middle of that can be quite difficult. And because of the person I am, I'd never want to.
You never want to half, yeah.
I'd want to go at it properly and make sure that the total I put was reflective of me and not, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just-
Low bar squatting takes the life out of me. It's my
Oh, really?
How much do you weigh, bro? 84 kilos. That's right. So yeah, fuck.
Does my elbows, my forearms, you know, and if I try and low bar squat alongside like log pressing, axle pressing, it's a no go.
Yeah. Fuck. I feel that, bro.
Press and low bar squat at the same time.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of squatting within the strongman comps for you, or do you see the pop up every now and then?
It's quite common here in the under 90 kilo scene. The promoter who runs the sort of national under 90 comps likes a squat.
Yep.
But in terms of the internationals that we do, no, you don't. I've never squatted at an international.
Yeah, right.
In this country, and it's always for reps. It's never sort of max out.
Yep.
And it's always a rep event.
You've competed. Correct me if I'm wrong. At the World Strongest Man, as an under 90, is it?
80.
Under fuck. And did pretty well 80. From what I hear.
Yeah, I've come sixth twice, and I've won the Europe Strongest Man under 80 kilos as well.
That's unreal, bro.
The sort of 2 sixth places were sort of polar opposite. Like one year I was really happy to finish sixth, and it was a bit of a slog. Then the year after, I was sort of gone into the last event in second with a chance of winning, and I was a bit disappointed at that one. But you know, it's never a bad thing to say you're in that sort of
you're in that top echelon, and like
you're thereabouts.
Yeah, it's
just like, man, that's the thing about strongman that's always kind of drawn me to it. And I've only ever done a novice, and I'm not speaking as if I'm trying to, if I know what I'm talking about, sorry, but it's so much more entertaining, and probably the most entertaining strength sport we have. And the competitive aspect, like you saying, you know, heading into the last event, you were ranked second, and then unfortunately dropped to sixth after the last event. Like, that's how much it can change.
2 points off first place going into the last event as well.
Oh, bro.
With that, how tight it was there.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
Then,
that's sick.
I'm definitely with you on that. I think it is the most. I think it's the most entertaining. I also think it's the most fun to train for as well.
Yep.
Just because of the variation. And that's what keeps me. That's what keeps me in the sport. I think if I didn't enjoy it, I'd just go away. There's a lot of powerlifting sort of based in strongman training. You sort of follow a very similar pattern in terms of your static lifts, but then you've got everything else sort of wedged into the side of it that just gives you the variation.
How do you find balancing the event training with your, you know, I guess your necessity training of getting better in your squat bench or squat press and hinge?
So
how do you balance that?
It's easier for me now because I have my own setup. I have a farm where I've got every piece of strongman kit that I'd need.
Oh, sick.
That's so dope.
And I've got a rack down there as well, and barbells and plates. So I can sort of, or the way myself and Shane sort of work things with my programming is I put everything in to the same day. So my press days, I will bench press, but I'll also have log press in there and axle press. My hinge days, I'll have farmer's walk in with the hinge movement and Atlas stones. And then squat days, this is sort of how we program across the board for a lot of our athletes as well. Is squat days, you squat and move, so you'll have squat, yoke, and medley training in there. So you'll try and combine or look for the events that match around the static movement that you want to do, and then piece it all together in that sense.
That's a very, I guess, newer way, I suppose is a better word, of training strongman, whereas the traditional sense would be like your squat day, your bench day, your deadlift day, and then an events day.
Exactly. It's sort of becoming more common now that you find when you talk to clients, you talk to new athletes, they always say, I have this kit list. And that's one thing we get our athletes to do is provide us with a kit list. And you're finding more and more people are buying their own stuff.
Yeah, right.
and setting up their own facilities, or they're going to gyms. It's really common over here now that gyms will have an area for strongman training because they've seen it as,
That's cool.
They've seen it as a way of bringing more custom to their gym.
That's so good though, man. Like obviously,
That's
you,
fucking sick.
you said before the sport's blowing up in the sense, you got personalities. You got your Eddie Hall. Like he's a fucking English treasure now. Like the amount of attention he's brought to the sport, whether it be good or bad, it's any publicity is good publicity. But now you got gyms over there that would never have thought of stocking a log or some Atlas stones, having that. Like that's sick.
Yeah, when I went to a place on Monday to do a session with a client, and the owner of that gym was talking me through everything. He said they were a bodybuilding gym, but and you can see it. Walk in and it's stacked with hammer strength machines, cable machines. But then they've put an area at the back, quite a big area with lifting platforms, squat cage, deadlift bars, and then log press, axles. And he's just said, the guy who owned the gym, he said the amount of people that have now started coming. And this is in quite a small town in the middle of England, but he's got people wanting to come and use that equipment. And he just said
that's so cool.
Yeah. And I think that's made it easier for us in terms of now we've got people who've got the choice, and we can program the way we want to program them. It's not, and they're becoming better athletes on the back of that because they're not having to cram all those events into one day.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a big challenge for coaching, wouldn't it? Particularly with the implement stuff. Not everyone, I guess, would have access to the exact toys that you would have coming into an event, and you've just got to come up with ways around it, eh?
Yeah, so that was the major challenge during COVID when I was saying our gyms were shut for pretty much 4 months, and you had guys scrapping around for barbells and plates, basically. And like, if you could have seen the sort of second-hand market over here for barbells and plates, it went absolutely stupid in prices. People so, that was the challenge for us during that lockdown period, was making sure everyone stayed sort of efficient in their training, but only with a barbell and 200 kilos of weights for quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, it's worked. People have come out the back end of it really in a good place, I think. So
absolutely, man. Like even with our lockdown, it forced us, even as coaches, to develop better ways of doing things. But now there's a great appreciation. Like the old adage of train hard, compete easy. It's like, fuck off. Train how like you're going to compete.
Exactly. And I've been a big believer in that for any sport I've ever done, is do it. I used to hate contact. When I played rugby, I used to hate doing contact in training, because contact to me, when the coach was just like, take it a little bit easy, you can't train to tackle someone. Easy. You know what I mean? It's either I'm either hitting that guy or touching him and letting him, go by. I'm not half-arsing it. So train that way. Be intense. Be what
100%. Like bring the same intensity you would. Like I've read Darren. We all know Darren Lockyer. I read his autobiography early this year, and he talks about like staying back at training, and he'd pick out the biggest dude to practice tackling with. Your Tony Carroll, your Shane Webkes, your Petro Sinovicevas. Like you're not gonna go out and try and tackle fucking the smallest player. Like you're fucking 5'8". You're gonna have so much traffic and big second rows run at you. Practice on that. So exactly. Train how you'd compete, train how you'd play. There's no point in doing, especially in this sport, like, and strongman especially, like, if you don't train with the same intensity and you bring that into comp day, like, shit can go wrong and pretty quickly. And when you're having these sort of loads on your back, in your hands, whatever, shit can go wrong real bad.
You need to know how to bring that. It's not something you can sort of just switch on and off. I find some people can. Some people can be the worst trainers in the world, and then it comes to the day and the switch is flipped. But they're rare, in my opinion and my experience. Those people are rare, and that's more in a sporting sort of a team game sense, I suppose. In a strength sports game, it's incredibly rare because if you're training half-assed, you're never going to be able to switch it up and bring an extra 10-20% to the platform. It just doesn't happen.
Is that intensity something you like to try and program for your guys, or an expectation you try and put to your crew when you're coaching them online?
The intensity is definitely, whether that be maximal weight, set volume, rep volume, like we program rest time. That's a big thing that we find to program, no matter what it is. So if, even if you've got a powerlifter who is training at 90% every lift, like they're in peak week, we'd still give them a rest time purely because, the mind wanders. The mind wanders when you're training and everything. And we find the rest keeps up the intensity.
Yep.
Which keeps you focused. If you've got a 5-minute rest period, for example, you can't really switch off. You can sit down, you can give yourself a bit of a breather, but if you're staying in that zone and you're staying intense, I think that's really important for sort of every athlete. And that goes for rest time between sets. It also goes for rest time between exercises. So it's not sort of, we want everyone to maximize their time in the gym. We're very aware that, a lot of people don't have, like, I'm easy. I'm a strength coach. I can go to the gym for as long as I want. Some people are working sort of big jobs, heavy jobs, driving jobs, sitting jobs, but they've got 2 hours in the gym. Like, for example, we want that time maximized. It's not 2 hours to just go in and do 2 exercises.
Yeah.
It's got to be 2 hours. But then we find they get to a contest and they find the contest day easier than a training day.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's a good.
I want to pose this, and this is a question for both of you, because I have a couple of clients, and we obviously Johnny knows them, but who are tradesmen. So they spend all days on a job site. They work hard on a job site. But I dare say they are the hardest workers when they come into the gym, even though they're exhausted and get the most out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's anyone who sits at a desk all day has a very different mentality. Yeah.
I've got a guy, one of my favorite clients, but one of my...
They're all your favorite.
We all have favorites. Nah, fuck off. There is a favorite.
He messages me a lot and says, I've just worked a 13-hour day on the tools, and then he is in that gym, and it's going dark, it's sort of midnight, but he's there, and he is putting in the work, and I'm saying, do I need to, regulate this guy? Do I need to bring his loads down? I do that for a week, and he said, oh, man, that's too easy. I need
yeah.
You're messaging me telling me you're working a 13-hour day.
Yeah.
Heavy lifting all day, and then you want more. So I'm like, wow, fair to this guy. And then that's why he competes strongman competition. I think he's got sort of 4 in 6 weeks or something. And these are
holy shit.
These are high level. These are one's the Scotland Strongest Man qualifier. One is a UKSA, a different federation, Scotland Strongest Man. The other's a UK Strongest Man under 120. So these are heavy competitions. And this guy goes and works during the week.
It's just like
the coach's dream.
Yeah.
Something else.
But I know these guys, because their work ethic is so high, and then they don't get much time to actually recover. So come the week of comp, they take 2-3 days off work leading to the competition. They gain an extra 30 kilos on their total. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And it's something to be said. Those blokes, the work ethic they put in, the intensity that they work at and then train at, it's like, man, you're on another level. And obviously we know one of our good mates, Terry, Brock, shout out to you guys, because you guys, I don't know how they do it.
No.
Yeah. It's a good one for you, bro, because I know from our friend Reed, he says you guys like to do things a bit differently. How do you like to program your rest weeks or deload week or whatever you would like to call it? How do you sort of work that in if you are pushing you guys with a bit more intensity?
So the deload or a rest, leading into a contest or just in general?
Let's go 2 questions: general and then contests.
Okay, general will always just bring the loads to 60 to 65, maybe 70% on a deload, and chop the exercises down. So they won't be in the gym for as long. but they will be working to a decent intensity. I never find just taking them down to 50s, 40s, doesn't it's good for the movement pattern, but it doesn't stimulate up there.
Yeah.
It doesn't stimulate the athlete in the head, because it's too easy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stimulate sort of energy systems that much either. But that'll run for a full week, and that's at the athlete's discretion normally.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll run until the athlete tells or says, I'm fucked here. I need a week. Or
Yep.
for the bigger guys, because with strongman we have a lot of guys that are 120 plus going into the 160s, 170s. We can try and auto regulate that, but that's done by compound movement.
Yep.
So we tend to run on three heavy sessions, one sort of pulled back. But that pulled back will be banded work. It'll be chains. It'll be something like that on a deadlift, a squat, a bench. So the weight on the bar will be less, but they'll still be pushing or pulling into a resistance. So they'll still be working, rather than just, we've taken them back to a 200 kilo deadlift, but they deadlift 400 kilos. They'll have 200 kilo on the bar, but they'll have a stiff band to pull into. But the body is recovering better doing that. It's not got 400 kilos running through it, And then leading into a contest, we'll always give a minimum of 3 days off. Just no training, but ask the athlete to move. So whether it be outside walking, getting steps in, whether that be mobility drills. We've got a sort of therapist that does videos for us on various mobility exercises, broken down by body part or total body, depending on what you want to do. So we'll ask the athlete to do that. And the 2 days in the gym, they will always move, and it will be competition specific. So for powerlifters like Reed, he will squat and bench on one of the days at around 60 to 70%, and then he will deadlift on the next day, whilst doing a bit with some easy accessories in there as well. But we find moving important in that week leading up to any contest, because you can get very stiff quite quickly if you're not moving. And the strongman we will do we will always make them log press or press on the Monday, and the Tuesday they'll pull. And then do some really light skill work on the events that they've got coming up. So at 50%, that's always done at 50%. So say they've got a yoke carry at 350, done my maths there, they'll do yoke for 175 for a couple of sets, practicing exactly the same as they will carry a 350 yoke. So I think that's very important as well. They're not, when you ask someone to do technique or speed work, this counts in the powerlifting world as well. You ask someone to do technique or speed work, they'll get on the bar or they'll get on the piece of equipment and they'll do it as fast as they can, regardless of what they do. Whereas, speed work should be done in exactly the same way as your heavy work. So you need to do that. You need to set up exactly the same. For us with strongman stuff, with yoke, we want your feet to move in exactly the same way. Obviously, if you've got 350 on your back, you're going to move a little bit differently to having 175 on your back. But the thing is, when you pick 175 up, you think, I can sprint with this, and you open your stride length up, and 175 isn't going to move you that much. You open your stride length up with 350 on your back, you're going face down into the floor. So we say to someone, it is 50%, but use exactly the same methods you would use with 100%. And that counts. Yeah, that counts with a bench press, a squat, a deadlift. Like you see people when they pull a speed pull on the deadlift, they almost clean pull the bar. It's like, well, you're not going to do that. Your setup's going to be different to do that. Everything's going to be completely different. So imagine you've got 300 kilos on the bar. You're not going to yank that with your thighs and with an extra shrug, almost with a second pull. Do it as if you were going to do top end, reset at the bottom, make sure everything's perfect again, pull again, but with better velocity than normal.
It comes back to what we said before, like train how you compete.
Exactly.
It's just like
and that, I was gonna say that skill component must play a huge part in strongman, particularly with so many different varied opportunities and movement depending on the events. Like I imagine that could be the difference between places or winning and losing an event. You know, if you're just better at with your stride, like you said, with the yoke or any of the other things.
Absolutely. Skill plays a massive part in the way we program in general. So like I said earlier, we have with the guys that have got access to kit, one of their days will be a heavy sort of press day. The other one will be a skill press day where we'll bring the load down and make them work a specific skill or a specific component of that press. But we do the same with the powerlifting guys as well. So MST actually stands for Modified Strongman Training. So that's what it stands for, and that's the system that we sort of abide by, and that's what we've brought across to sort of all our training methods is this sort of modified strongman training, and that's where we get a lot of our systems from. But it's worked really well with powerlifters as well in terms of that.
Do you like to throw a little? Do you like to throw a bit of strongman training into a powerlifter's training? Do you get a bit of crossover between the two, seeing you playing a bit of both realms?
Yeah, especially the overhead pressing. Overhead pressing works so well with the powerlifters in their off season or whatever you want to call it. If they've got access to a log, brilliant. If they've not, get out of the rack or clean it from the floor. But only sort of if you've got a good off season. However, that variation I think is important, massively important for a powerlifter. And I think taking them away from doing a back squat, a bench press, and a deadlift from the floor is majorly important. Reed will probably tell you basic. We run, especially the way you guys have set it out. It's been a coach's dream actually between his local, his states, and now his national. I think he's always had 12 weeks almost.
If only the guy who organised that competition calendar knew what he was doing.
No. But it's been a dream, man, because I pull him away from squat, bench, and deadlift every 6 weeks now, or it's what I've seen him done, and giving him total variation. So I'm not saying he doesn't squat; he'll do a front squat instead of a back squat. Deadlift, I'll just raise the deadlift or pull from a deficit, and we'll max out those different areas over a 6 week period, and then throw straight back into 6 weeks of sort of peaking, I suppose. Is the buzzword for it. That keeps the mind fresh as well. That's what we find with and it keeps the progression like flowing, because I think if you give a powerlift, I think if you took a powerlifter who just done squat, bench, and deadlift for 52 weeks of the year, they'll have probably seen maybe progress, but a lot of flat work. But the way all the results that we seem to get is you pull them away and then you throw them back in for 6 weeks, and it's like, right, these are my numbers, these are what I'm hitting, and it's gone like that, and it's been a breath of fresh air.
100%. It gives them an opportunity to work on weak points, things like that. And as you said before, keeps the mind fresh, breaks up the monotony of powerlifting, which as much as we love the sport, it can get tedious sometimes. And just the simple variation of going from a low bar back squat to a safety bar squat could be all the difference. Your shoulders feel good. You feel better leaving the gym. You don't feel like you're beat up and want to go eat a double quarter pounder just to get some fuel back.
What lessons do you think strongmen could take from powerlifting, bro? Like you sort of covered what you think powerlifters could benefit from strongmen. I absolutely agree with that. I was interested if you think there's anything strongmen could take away from powerlifting.
Definitely. I think powerlifters put a lot of emphasis. A lot of strongmen you meet are very, I wouldn't say scared, but wary of training at a very high percentage work a lot, whereas powerlifters do that. I know the movements aren't as varied, but you'll find a lot of strongmen won't want to train at that sort of 90% plus level. I think the body can handle it, as powerlifting has shown. And there's certain strongmen that are now adapting to it. You just need to train your body and get your body used to it. The body's an amazing thing, and it will adapt if you give it the room to adapt. We're finding a lot at the moment people coming in and saying, I haven't got the work capacity to do that, or you just need to train it.
Yeah.
So you find powerlifters 4 days a week when they're in an intense training cycle will train squat, bench, and deadlift 4 days a week. That's just what they do, and they'll train at a very high percentage throughout that, and their body will acclimatize to that, for want of a better word. They'll get used to that. But strongmen are very, very wary of that and very reluctant to do it, maybe because of the amount of events that they've got to do, but they think they'll need something that's light. But you can't run it for a long time. Of course, you can't run at that high percentage, but I think if a strongman adapted that mindset a little bit more, then they will be better suited to their work rate would go up, their work capacity would go up, and their ability to recover between heavy sessions would go up as well.
That's the thing as well. It's it's not so much an issue of work capacity. We know now that we can push ourselves and the body to a very high extent. It's what you can recover from. And in a lot of people, and I think powerlifting's come leaps and bounds in the recent few years in terms of recovery. You can do so much more for your recovery just through simple breathing exercises, going for a walk, staying hydrated even on your rest days and non-training days, little things like that people just almost take for granted. But you do those things, you'll be able to train at a high capacity. You'll be able to recover better.
Yeah, we're also finding we can train the recovery in the gym as well. So, you give someone, I don't know, especially on yoke training, you give him, we've done this on a lot of exercise, a lot of compound movements as well. You tell someone to put a load on the bar, it's normally around 80 to 85%. Give them 15 minutes on the clock, and it's you hit as many reps as you can hit in that 15 minutes.
Wow.
And then the next week it's coming down to 30 minutes, but you're hitting the same amount of reps with the same load. But that's training the recovery. So there, you just tick that on week by week by week. You had to bring the time down. You put the load up and keep the time the same. But I'm only talking 2.5 kilos a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've done it on yoke as well. So giving someone a 15-minute time limit and a yoke.
That sounds horrible, but brilliant.
So they're in charge of that. So they're in charge of how much they do. But then the target is to then beat it the next week.
Yeah.
But then you get without even knowing, we'll have people say, I easily beat last week's number. And it's well, yeah. Then you're challenging yourself, but then they're recovering as well from that. And that they're not even seeing that as a hard training session after sort of 4 weeks. It's a
mental switch.
Yes, a mental thing rather than that. But then then they're running into the next sort of heavy session going, my body feels great. They do the heavy session, they wake up the next day and they don't even feel like they've done much because the recovery is,
they've adapted. It's that's really cool. Yeah. It's an interesting, we talk about the theories of super compensation and things like that. And it's well, if you've got 15 minutes to hit as many reps as possible, whatever it is, and you go hard, obviously your body will adapt. And next week, if it's the same weight or only 2.5 kilos more, your body can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Your body's obviously recovered. That's very interesting. I haven't heard of that, and I like it.
It doesn't have to be heavy either. You can give someone a real lightweight and just say keep eating it. But it's it's a real good way that we found that to help the strongmen particularly recover. But it has worked with back squat as well for powerlifters in terms of as an off-season thing. But then they'll come into their heavy blocks and it'll be right, I'm recovering from heavy singles because that's my true coach.
You're right.
I've done 30 reps with 80% in 15 minutes, which, is
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any modalities outside of the gym that you like to prescribe to for you guys for recovery work, bro?
Steps, definitely get out walking, get out in nature.
Yep.
So underrated.
Like, oh my God, yeah, it's one of the biggest things that, especially like we spoke about before, people who work in office jobs or who are so sedentary in normal life, you get out and you put in even 5,000 steps. I mean, we try and tell people 10,000. It seems to be the buzz number at the moment is get 10,000 steps in. But even if you're doing 5,000 as a sedentary person, you'll feel so much better. Breathing, we get like not breathing exercises, but just sitting down, closing your eyes, having 10 minutes, shutting yourself off from phones, TVs, computers, give yourself time. And we just started in the last week, 2 weeks, getting people to measure for us every fortnight, sort of blood pressure, blood glucose if they can, and giving people targets. So they record that. We use True Coach. I don't know if you know the software.
Yep.
Guys, is that what you use? So we get them to record their blood pressure, blood glucose in True Coach, and then they can check it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Not for us to sweet. We'll get someone if it's really high. We'll be like, mate, your blood pressure is really high. You need to sort that. But it's mainly for them. But we just put it in on a Sunday as a workout, so they can record it and just keep checking. And then they're sort of auto-regulating their own recovery.
Yeah.
Because if they're then saying these levels are, we track we get them to track their sleep as well, their quality of sleep, hydration, everything like that, and give it a mark out of 10. So give sleep and hydration. It's say, how have you been for the last 2 weeks? Give it a mark out of 10. If it's really low, sort of improve on that. You'll recover better. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
Everything will keep going up. And I suppose for us as well, it's an easy way of saying, if they're saying we're not hitting the numbers, it's like, well, how was your hydration? How was your sleep? How, if that's no good, how are you expecting to walk into a gym and hit the sort of numbers that you want to hit?
Absolutely.
You'll improve on that.
Who do you, man, you're across a lot of stuff and you know heaps of cool stuff, which I absolutely love, bro. Who do you look for inspiration or to bounce your ideas or education, for lack of a better word, out there in the community of strength for yourself, bro?
Education is, we just read anything and everything. And I mean that. And then we talk to each other, myself and Shane. Talk to people in the gym. That if we ever go to the gym, Shane's got his own place, so he talks to a lot of people in there. Sort of, if we've read something, it's, what do you think of this? Do you think this is this something you could get on board with? I think talking to the athletes that we have is the most important thing, because if we put something in their program that they're looking at going, nah, I'm not on board with that, they're not going to do it. Or they're going to half-arse it and think this is a load of shit. Like, I don't want to do this. But someone we look to a lot in this country is Tom Hibbert. I don't know if you Winning Health Solutions. So he's just doing log press only at the moment, I think. But he's a very highly educated trainer in this country. Ex-strongman. Won England's Strongest Man under 90 a bunch of times, but like really respect his training systems. Love his way of thinking about training as well. Sort of a bit different.
And you've seen it evolve a lot over the years for yourself, being around for such a while as well. Definitely.
Like I said before, even to the basics of people getting their own kit. To actually train on, rather than doing your sort of squat, bench, deadlift, then an event day, getting your own kit. And
that's a good thing.
Being able to train.
The information, a lot of the information's out there, but we look to these people, like you mentioned Tom before, because they have a different philosophy or an ideology that we buy into and believe in. It's not so much as the information's there. We can Google search anything these days, but it's the people we look to who can really critically think about things and put into a different, or see it from a different perspective that really resonates with us, allows us to buy it in. And I fucking respect that.
Travis Mash stuff as well. I don't know if you know Travis Mash, the Olympic weightlifter. A lot of his principles are very good. Very applicable. Probably shouldn't say this, but CrossFit has had a massive impact on strongman.
We constantly talk about that.
We were just literally talking about it too in our last episode.
Massive. The introduction of EMOMs, AMRAPs, everything like that has just revolutionized a lot of people. Flow work, things like that has revolutionized a lot of people's thinking on the way strongmen should train. The guy who won the under 90 kilo World Strongest Man in 2019 from Australia. I can never say his name properly though. He's an islander, Nagamu. He went to the CrossFit. He was in the CrossFit Games, I think 2-3 years ago. And that guy blew everyone away. Sort of over the weekend of the World Strongest Man competition, he was so fit, so statically strong as well. And that, I think, opened a lot of people's eyes to how you can train.
100%. Like going back to our conversation before about work capacity, it's like we found out what we were really capable of when they started doing shit.
Yeah.
Like they're insane.
I have so much respect for CrossFit when it's done right.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people who do it wrong.
Yeah.
And bring a lot. They're the ones that everyone sort of seems to see, and it brings a lot of shade onto their sport, I suppose. But when it's done right, those are super athletes, man.
Man, they're freaks, and there's like we owe a debt of gratitude across all strength sports. They pop up massively, and even made fucking like mobility and stability shit look sexy. So fucking well done, CrossFit. When it's done right, as you said.
Yeah, so I'd say like with our training systems, it's hard to name names of people that we really look to for information because it's taken from. Say I've been doing strength sports, but I've been training in the gym since I was 16. I'm 34 now, so that's a long time to pick up a lot of methods and trained with a lot of people like across various sports. I've trained. So where I live now is where I went to university, and it's called Loughborough University, but it's the biggest sporting university in Europe.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Where Team GB train. It's where, so I've been in training sessions with Team GB Olympic weightlifters. And I picked things up from them. Sort of, I trained for 9 months with Tommy Yule, who went to the Sydney Olympic Games as an Olympic weightlifter. So
that's cool.
So I picked things up from him, and it's just implementing those. I've never gone to someone and thought, I want that training method. It's always been, well, I liked what he did for that movement. I liked what he did for that movement. How can we combine that and make a great training program based on it, as long as it works, as long as it fits together? You can't, I'm not saying I can take the way someone squatted and put it with the way someone bench pressed, for example. It doesn't make sense. It's got to make sense, but
100%.
Drawing in from all those different areas.
And that's how you create your own systems and your own methodologies.
Build one system and method that works across, I suppose, 2 sports, 3 sports.
Yeah, fucking
nice. We do have Olympic weightlifters as well, but we, again, use the same methodology as we use across the 3 sports. It's not, we haven't got an Olympic weightlifting block.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your same principles can be overlaid. It's just a different fucking movement now. It's like we do this, we work hard, we recover, repeat.
Yep.
Very simple.
Yep.
I love it, Dan. Mate, what we like to do when we get towards the end here, we ask you 10 questions.
Right.
Now, they have nothing to do with anything and lots to do with things. They're very random. We expect them very quickly with the first thing that pops in your head. We hope you're stressed and ready for this. Question number 1. Would you rather throw away money or love?
Money.
What are you watching on Netflix or any other subscription channel as we speak?
program's about drug dealers.
Sick.
Oh, what's that on?
I think it's called Dope, and it's on Netflix.
Oh, get around that.
Yeah, I'm literally gonna go home and watch that.
What is the strangest thing in your fridge?
Ooh, God. Nah, that can't be quick. Probably a jar of jam that's been there for about 3 years.
Would you still use that jam if you needed jam?
Probably because jam keeps, but I've got no idea. I've got no idea why my missus bought it because neither of us eat jam, so it's just there.
You've got a just-in-case jar of jam.
Exactly.
Mate, what's your favorite toy growing up as a kid?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Raphael.
Sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a toy I can get around.
Always
Mate,
Raphael.
when do you feel the most in control?
Oh God. Of what?
Anything
In life.
in life.
I feel the most in control. Oh my! When everyone around me isn't bothering me, and it's just me.
Yes,
Me.
mate. How do you rate your ability or / skill of cooking?
Ooh, a good 8 out of 10, and a really strong 8 out of 10.
What do you have a signature dish?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Ooh.
Oh yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you're going to write a song about yourself. What are you going to call it?
Oh. Little man, big problems.
I like
rap.
that one.
That's a rap.
Yes, that's the
Fuck
best.
yeah.
Mate, if you could change your name, what would you change it to?
Ooh. Shane.
Shade.
Shano.
Shano.
Yeah,
Fuck
Shano.
yeah, get around that.
Shano!
I'd have a
Yeah.
big mullet.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
start growing it. Mate, what do you think of social media?
Ooh. Great for business, terrible for life. There you go.
But it wouldn't be good for business if we didn't have it for life.
Exactly.
It's tricky.
Exactly.
What's your favorite t-shirt?
Other than my MST Systems one.
Yes.
Yes. Which one have I got on today? Have I got? Yeah, get in the gym and sling some tin. The favorite one though is says, "Don't be a little bitch."
Love that.
That's fucking
Mate,
cool.
that's insane. Mate, I keep forgetting that's the 10 questions. Yeah, fuck, we love doing
Nailed
that
it.
because it gives a better insight to the person behind the MST Systems. Mate, thank you so much for, obviously it's your morning over there. Thank you so much for giving up your morning. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and like, fuck, we could talk for hours, so we better stop now.
It's been good to talk, man.
Absolutely, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks, bro.
We'll have to get, whenever this travel shit opens up, and we'll get over there, or you get over here. Hopefully it's around Origin time, and we can just fucking, wow, that'd be sick.
Get to Suncorp.
Fucking oath,
Fuck yeah.
bro.
Awesome.
Mate, great to chat to you. Have a good day, and we'll talk soon, man. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank
See you, my man. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.